Alright, so what I'm doing is today here is a bit of a team analysis on a team that I made. I think it's the last video I uploaded was using this team, and I wanted to do team analysis because it's a really fun team that I made. It's really fun. I really enjoy using it. I think it's really quite good. It has quite a lot of flaws, but I really enjoy using it. And I'm planning to upload at least a few more battles this week with the team, just because it's so much fun to use. I haven't been like playing it like super competitively to try to get like really high, but I've been playing just for fun, and I've been sticking quite on a quite average ladder ranking either way, just by playing for fun. So it works out either way. But I'll go over the team. So first Pokemon we've got is we got Gengar. It's pretty much my favorite Gengar set to use of all time, really. It's pretty much the star of the team. It's what I made the team around. Whenever you make a team, unless you're just grabbing random things, you kind of try to centralize it around something that you're trying to do. And basically, I tried to build it around Hex Gengar. It's really fun, but it may seem strange to be using bulky Gengar, if you could call it that, but Gengar's defensive typing is just so good. Like, you can just wall so many things in the OU meta right now. Like, it's a really good Pokemon for this meta right now. I'm using Hex over Shadow Ball because I used to run Shadow Ball, but I found like 9 times out of 10 I'd be clicking Will-O-Wisp before I'd attack anyway. Um, Especially because I'm not max special attack. So the extra power with Hex usually helps out quite a lot more than going for Shadow Ball. The extra power with Hex kind of makes up for the lack of the special attack investment, and I'm usually going to be clicking Will-O-Wisp anyway because Shadow Ball without the investment doesn't hit that hard on just a neutral hit. So I usually go for Will-O-Wisp anyway, and I'm using Sub Disable as my last two moves just because Sub Disable, in my humble opinion, is one of the best Gengar sets in this current meta right now because you wall so many things, as I said before. I'm considering switching it to Sludge Wave, and if I would, I'd be dropping Disable for Sludge Wave, and I'm really considering doing that. Like, it's not just me saying, yeah, I could. Like, I may very well do that just because Clefable gives this team like so much trouble. Um, yeah, it's just like this Clefable is just ridiculously hard to deal with otherwise. And Sylveon exists. It would be nice to hit Sylveon, but meh. The EVs are there, so Mega Venusaur and defensive Stealth Rock Clefable. Neither of them can break my sub, pretty much under any circumstances. I think Mega Venusaur, like max special attack modest, can. It's like a roll if they break my sub with Giga Drain. Either that or it's like guaranteed to break my sub with Giga Drain, but it still be doing like 30%. And if it's offensive, then it probably gets I wouldn't say O code by a Hex after a Will-O-Wisp, but I'd say it does a hell of a lot. So Gengar is quite a good stop to both of those Pokemon. Other than that, another really kind of important thing is bulky Garchomp. You know, the lead, Stealth Rock, Dragon Tail, EQ. Sometimes they carry Fire Blast, sometimes they carry Toxic, depends on the person and what their team's weak to. But bulky Garchomp using Dragon Tail and Breloom using Bullet Seed, neither of them can break my sub after a burn either. So those four Pokemon are nice to be able to settle up on. Um, and yeah, like I said, the missing special attack EVs aren't usually missed due to the sheer power of just hacks, because it is a 130 base power stab move that's not resisted by very much. Um, and Sludge Wave, as I said, it would be nice over Disable, but Disable's really good to be able to wall things like Ferrothorn, Heatran, because Heatran usually carry well, it's not a good stop to Heatran. I wouldn't ever try to 1v1 Heatran with Gengar, but like they usually carry like Lava Plume, Earth Power, Toxic, and like Stealth Rocks, and then in between there could be Roar, Protect, and Taunt. So no, I'd never try to 1v1 a Heatran, but it's just interesting that you could potentially. outstall a Heat Ram, but like you wouldn't want to. Ferrothorn, Gyro Ball does a lot. A Gyro Ball does a lot, even if it's burned, honestly. But after that, they carry like Leech Seed, Stealth Rocks, Power Whip, and Protect or Thunder Wave. So if you disable Gyro Ball, you pretty much hardwall Ferrothorn. That's very nice to be able to do. Sub Disable also lets you hardwall pretty much any Breloom and Gliscor set in the game. And I think those are both important things to be able to wall with a Hex Gengar set at least, because Gliscor is always going to be having a status on it, and if they carry knockoff, then they just pretty much just kill your Gengar, and that's bad. I don't want that. So it's very nice to be able to pretty much hardwall any Gliscor set. Breloom as well. Sometimes they carry Rock Tomb, and if they get 5 hits with Bullet Seed, that'll break your sub. But basically, you can disable whichever Breloom's most powerful hit is and just sub up on it, because they like to carry, if it's a Technician set, it'll be like Spore, Mach Punch, Swords Dance, Bullet Seed, and it could switch out Swords Dance for like Rock Tomb. And then there's a few other Breloom sets, but you can pretty much wall any of those sets. A few other nice things to be able to deal with is Specs Keldeo, defensive Landorus T. They like to carry EQ, U-Turn, Stealth Rocks, and Knockoff or Stone Edge. Disable Knockoff or Stone Edge and sub up on any other move. Plus, you can burn it, which is really good for any team. Burned Landorus T. Scarfed Landorus T. If you can set up a sub on them, it's nice to, like before they get in. It's nice to be able to disable whatever move they go for. Specs Magnezone as well. And Mega Heracross is another thing you can wall, because Pin Missile doesn't break your sub even with Skill Link 5 hits. Pin Missile doesn't break the sub, so you just disable Rock Blast, it's all good. Sylveon as well, but like I said, Sludge Wave would be able to hit Sylveon anyway, so it's not as if that's a sub-disable walls Sylveon and the other doesn't. It's also very important to note that Sub-Disable gives you a semi-reliable way of escaping Pursuit users like Bishop and Tyranitar, which is quite nice, honestly. Because like I said, this team's built around Gengar, so I don't want to just lose my Gengar to a Pursuit user. So Gengar serves this team not just to like spam Hex, as it might appear with the team, but it's very good in being able to burn and survive a hit from most physical attackers that at least that threaten this team, which is really quite nice. I'll go on to the next Pokemon now. I have a bit of a weird order here with them, but I'll go over the next one. The next Pokemon is Keldeo. Specs is what I have at the moment, but I originally had Scarf, and honestly, I think the next time I play a game, I'll probably be using Scarf again, just because my team lacks a Scarfer, and because there's a lot of threatening things to my team that Keldeo is good to outspeed. But anyway, Keldeo completes the offensive core that I kind of have going with Gengar. So these two monsters, they cover each other's backs so like amazingly that there's no reason to use pretty much anything else for the team. Keldeo checks pretty much every dark type that scares Gengar on my team. For example, Tyranitar, Bisharp, Weavile. Keldeo is also able to check a few strong priority users. Pretty much every priority user in the tier, really, like Weavile, Bisharp with Sucker Punch, Azumarill with Aqua Jet. I mean, it doesn't really check it very well, but like I'm just saying it resists all the priority that is going to be, in the tier. And Scizor, which is another thing that threatens Gengar, not specifically for Pursuit, but just because a Bullet Punch before I can get a burn off is pretty powerful and not very good. And another reason Keldeo makes a really good core is it beats pretty much the two best specially defensive walls in this tier that Gengar can't really touch, which are Chansey and Heatran. And also Ferrothorn, if they're especially defensive, but I think most of them run physically defensive now. But Chansey, Heatran, Ferrothorn, Keldeo beats all three of them, which is quite nice. And all three, well, I guess the first two give Gengar a lot of trouble, and both of them are technically immune to status. Another thing in terms of status, Scald, Chance to Burn also works quite well with Gengar and Hex, because if it can spread burns on things that Keldeo can't deal with, but Gengar can check, then that it works quite well hand in hand. And in turn, Gengar can set up on things like Mega Venusaur and Clefable, as long as it's not Calm Mind, unless I switch to Sludge Wave. But Mega Venusaur and Clefable and Sylveon, things that threaten Keldeo, Gengar is able to beat quite easily as well. Another nice thing is things like Slowbro. You can pretty much pick up the Oko with Hex. You can Oko Slowbro, not Assault Vest Slowbro. A lot of them run Assault Vest, but like if it's not Assault Vest Slowbro, you can Oko it with Hex after it's got a burn. Unless I missed something with my maths I've done. And of course, you speed tie with the Lottie twins, which give Keldeo a bit of trouble. Another reason I wanted to run the Scarf on Keldeo was to deal with the Lottie twins. So yeah, no, at the moment I'm a bit unsure about the item. I think Scarf might be a bit better because you outspeed some electric types, which are kind of threatening, like Manectric, Thundurus, and Raikou, and actually Mega Lopunny, which is pretty much destroys my team. But the other two options for Keldeo I thought would be nice was Life Orb, 3 attacks, and Specs, because they both seemed very nice. Another nice thing for Scarf, though, is that you outspeed Zardax and Dragonite after a Dragon Dance. And both those Pokemon are just ridiculous. Ridiculous as all hell. Well, Dragonite isn't as ridiculous, I don't think, but they're all really, really good. Moving on to the defensive core, we've got Gliscor. You'll notice I'm not running Roost at the moment. Again, may switch that. That's one of the things I'm a bit unsure about with this team, but speed is for Jolly Tyranitar and everything up to it, because Tyranitar kind of like to carry Ice Beam these days, so it's nice to be able to hit that, and be able to, yeah, but, anyway, Gliscor is the first half of the defensive core on my team, the other half being Umbreon, so his typing works very nicely with Umbreon. The only other option other than Umbreon that I use is Sylveon, and Umbreon's typing works a lot better for the team, giving me a Dark and Ghost Resist, and like I honestly don't even like Sylveon. Like everyone thinks that like Sylveon's like the second coming of Jesus, but like I much prefer Umbreon. I think Umbreon's better. Sylveon is a fairy type, and everyone's like, whoa, fairies, yo, those are sick. But I much prefer Umbreon, even Vaporeon in a lot of scenarios. But again, Gliscor's typing works quite nicely with Umbreon being able to take fighting type attacks and bug type attacks that are aimed at Umbreon. And the reason I chose Gliscor over something like Landorus or Garchomp is because it's vital to the team to be able to spread status for Gengar to be able to spam Hex. So it's one of the best toxic stallers pretty much in the tier. So it's a very good Pokemon. It's pretty much the first Pokemon I thought of using when I built this team right after I thought Keldeo. But it's also my stealth rocker, so I don't get like 6-0'd by goddamn Talonflame, because I hate Talonflame. It's also nice, of course, for Charizard. Both those two Pokemon are quite threatening to the team, but and you should pretty much always have Stealth Rocks on your team. It's also pretty much my best check to Heatran outside of Keldeo, because Heatran's a bit of a problem for this team. And it's of course also a status absorber for my team, because I lack Heal Bell support. So things like Spore, I'll be able to switch in Gliscor once the orb has been activated. I can come in on Toxics or Will-O-Wisps or Thunder Waves, things like that. And like I said, I originally ran Roost over U-Turn, but this team kind of relies a bit on momentum, as it's a bit more of an offensive team than I usually run, so I thought U-Turn would be better. I also have Wish support, and Gliscor has Toxic Heal and is really bulky, so I thought it was justified, so I thought I'd try that out. I may switch it back to Roost when I start playing some games and realize that I need it. The other half of the defensive core we'll go on to is Umbreon. and I'll go over right now. Umbreon's just really, really good. I really love Umbreon. So it's the other half of the defensive core. It's great typing for the team. It can check Sashed Alakazam as well as Life Orb or Megazam if they have Dazzling Gleam over Focus Blast, because a lot of people don't like missing Focus Blast, but Umbreon takes Dazzling Gleams decently. Like it, Megazam isn't can't OHKO me with Dazzling Gleam. But Baton Pass for momentum, as I said, Heal Bell would be the only other move that I put there, or Toxic, but I don't really want to be using Heal Bell to be getting rid of Gliscor's status, and I have status absorbers either way, so Baton Pass was pretty much the best option. Foul Play is really good for things like Talonflame or Zard X or really powerful physical attackers. Um, Foul Play does like 60% to Talonflame, or it'll OHKO it if it tries to Swords Dance in my face, and Umbreon can take a hit from Banded Talonflame if need be. Um, so Wish and Baton Pass is a really good combination, and I think it's one of the main reasons that bulky Gengar is viable on this team. Just because, like I said, Gengar can survive a hit from most physical attackers. Um, like powerful ones will probably do like 60%, but you'll still survive. And then you can, if you're able to just Wish Baton Pass into Gengar, you'll be back up to full. Um, Plus, a lot of times you can just hard switch straight into Gengar because of your type synergy between Umbreon and Gengar. So yeah, Wish support is very good with the Gengar set that I'm using. It also keeps the rest of my team healthy. Like I said, a lot of these Pokemon are like semi bulky, and a lot of them lack recovery. So Umbreon's here to help out with that. And Synchronize is another way to spread status. It's a great way to spread status, as a matter of fact, for things like Scald, because as my special wall, this will be the one taking Scalds, so we'll be able to pass Scalds on to a lot of water types to allow Gengar to spam Hex as well to continue his rampage. Most notably are Keldeo and Slowbro in that department. Of course, Keldeo is going to be going for fighting moves, but still, if it's locked into it like Scarf or something, or if you switch in on a Scald and pass the burn, then you're able to deal with it quite nicely. Going from there, we've got our Mega Evolution slot here in Mega Manectric here, and Mega Manectric is pretty much the best Mega option for my team. Because if you look at my team, I have a Levitator and a Flying type. So, like 9.5 times out of 10, my opponent is not going to be clicking Earthquake just because, like, if they click Earthquake and I bring in Gengar and they're like scarfed into Earthquake, it's going to be really bad for them. So, just the fact that the mentality like this goes like that gives Mega Manectric a huge advantage over a lot of other scenarios that it would have in the game, just because people aren't going to want to be going for Earthquake, which is really good. It's a pretty standard Mega Manectric set. I think I'm going to run. I think I'm running Flamethrower over Overheat. Flamethrower has a chance to burn, and that's good for Gengar. I'm not relying on the burn with that. It's just I don't really want to use Overheat. I think I might, because it picks up the OHKO on a few important things, but at the moment I'm just sticking with Flamethrower, and it's really nice. Like it's one of the fastest things on my team, which is one of the reasons why I feel like I can justify not running a Scarfer, but at the same time I don't want to not run a Scarfer. HB Ice is really nice for things like Lottie and of course things that are quad weak. And Mega Manectric is my only Brave Bird resist on my team, which is a bit scary, but I do outspeed Talonflame's Flare Blitz, so I can Volt Switch on that quite freely. And I don't think either Flare Blitz or the other move can OHKO Manectric after an Intimidate, which is really good for the team. One more thing, actually, I should probably mention with Umbreon is I'm running minus speed, so Clefable outspeeds me, so I can Baton Pass into Scizor and not get like caught by Fire Blast in the process. But speaking of Scizor, I will move on to Scizor right now. Banded Scizor is just it's my favorite Scizor set, and Scizor is one of my favorite OU Pokemon. And I think Band is the best set when you're utilizing U-turn, because otherwise, if you're using like Life Orb and you U-turn on Heatran, they're going to take like 1%, and you're going to take Life Orb recoil, so you're just going to be dealing more damage to yourself. And Choice Band, again, is 100% needed, so I don't get 6-0'd by Calm Mind Clefable, because it's almost always a guaranteed OHKO with Bullet Punch. And Clefable just sweeps the rest of my team, which is ridiculous. I really need something for Clefable. Clefable is terrifying. Um, the other Calm Mind user that gives me trouble is Sableye, but I guess I'll try to deal with it by using Keldeo to get a burn on it, and then spamming Banded U-turn. And between those two, and a bit of switching around, I should. Well, I mean, Sableye is so broken anyway. Like you have to run a Fairy type or you get swept. But anyway, I'm using Banded Defog, as strange as it seems, because the only other move I'd use is Knockoff. And I mean, Knockoff's nice, but like stab moves plus superpower gives you quite enough coverage in that sense anyway. Superpower hits stuff like Heatran and Chansey, and everything else is good anyway. But I'd rather have Defog just in case hazards start to stack. It's really better to be safe than sorry. Um, and because I'm really going to be clicking U-turn and Volt Switch so often, hazards really start to hurt this team. I've been considering running speed to outspeed Heatran, but most times, honestly, Heatran can run a bit of speed, and if they run a bit of speed, they'll outspeed Jolly Scizor, and I'm not going to want to run Jolly Scizor anyway. So the bulk is quite a lot better anyway, especially when Bullet Punch is pretty much quite often the move to go for. Bullet Punch or U-turn. But that's the team as of right now. You'll notice that my Azumarill and Keldeo counters, if you look through my team, they're not there. There's not. There isn't one. There isn't one. And my water resist is Keldeo. So yeah, I have a bit of a problem with those types. I do have Manectric, and Manectric's really good, and Manectric is probably my best way to deal with those. It's also worth mentioning that Gengar beats Sub Calm Mind Keldeo one-on-one because you just disable Scald. So Sub Calm Mind isn't very threatening. And if a Azumarill scares me, I can always burn it and survive a hit afterwards. Unless they have knockoff, but like they usually run superpower for like a lot of things that superpower hits better than knockoff. Because I'm pretty sure Gengar eats a waterfall, especially if it's just if it's AV, it does like 40%. If it's banned though, I'm pretty sure I live on like 20% left. I don't know. They're probably clicking Aqua Jet anyway, and I eat that easily. Um, Team also struggles, as I said, with Mega Sableye and Clefable. If it's Calm Mind Clefable, Bolt Beam combo also hurts the team a little bit, as do the Lottie twins, which is why I want to run Scarf. Any physical water or ice types also hurt the team quite a lot, as Gliscor is quite afraid of those things, among other things. All the team's weaknesses are kind of tried to be played around with the momentum that I mentioned as before. But yeah, so that's the team. I'm probably going to be using them quite. I'm probably going to be using them for a little bit this week, just for fun. I don't see me like laddering to top 10 or anything like that. I'd probably never be able to either way. But like, I don't see me laddering extremely high with this, just because I'm just kind of doing it for fun. But that's the team. Yeah, I'll see ya.